there's so many questions I want to ask you, right? The first question I was supposed to ask you today was, so, you served again as the adjunct general for the state of Maryland. But you didn't just get there, right? Some things had to happen. So I guess my question is, what are three different experiences that you think led to you ultimately being offered this opportunity? Again, these experiences could have been when you were a kid or mid-career. What are three just divergent experiences that led to you being offered that opportunity?
Well, I think, so one of the first ones is when I actually made the decision to become an officer. I went through a hard program, right? Because it was not the active duty program. They wouldn't let you go to the active duty program. So I went to, and I don't want to say they wouldn't let, but they wouldn't let me. So I had to go to the National Guard officer candidate program. And I put, so much effort and made such a commitment to, try to be performing, because I didn't want my classmates to have to do push-ups because my shoes weren't shined or whatever. So, you're always trying to be better. And, I would get there early and I'd be cleaning the billets and cleaning the rooms so that we could be ready, for the evening when, we do our weekends. And I graduated at the top of the class. That put me on the map for many things, because it got me recognized by leadership at the very senior level. So at that time, the adjutant general that was the adjutant general was like the scariest man ever. It got me on his radar.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to say more about that on the military side. I won't talk about the civilian side, but I'll talk about that military side, because this is a key point. He not only recognized me and was like, oh my God, we need to keep our eye on this lady. Many years later, when I went in for battalion command, I was very junior, but I knew that I wanted command. And the whole point was you put your packet in and make sure that they know you want it, even if you don't get it. It's good to interview and it's good to do that. So I really wanted battalion command, was not selected because I was too junior. Got a call, like, I don't know, the week after that, the adjutant general, which is the same guy, wanted me to implement and stand up this unit that was currently as a business case. And part of it was because of my civilian background. And he felt like I had the right background to be able to do this. So there again, this same person, gave me an opportunity, and I wasn't going to take the opportunity. I was like, I really don't want to do this. And they were just like, no, you don't understand. If this general asks you to do something, you may not get another opportunity. So I took the opportunity and we did an amazing job. And from there, it was like whatever opportunity presented itself, I stepped forward. Yeah. And so if you were to ask me what really made a difference, I was willing to put myself out there and try it, even if I didn't think that I'm just like, man, do I have all of the right skills to be able to do this? And that's when I found out that, a lot of my peers, I mean, they're not going to have all the right skills either, but they're not going to be, willing to kind of step back and say, well, no, I can't do this because I don't have the 10 skills. And so I had to get comfortable being uncomfortable and putting myself out there and willing to do and learn the job.
So one of my mentors, who's a federal executive, one of the things he told me, he's served in the federal government for almost 20 years now, some of the most senior level SES positions that a career SES can have. And he hasn't applied for a job for like 20 years. Like everything he's gotten has all been from relationships. And so, I had some opportunities presented to me when I was working at my way through the federal government, and I was like, well, I'm not sure I'm ready for it. He's like, take the job, you'll figure it out. He said, you should always be learning in your job. So it sounds like that's the route you took.
Yeah, absolutely. And what you just said is there's learning in your job. If I was to go in a job and I'm not learning, I would be bored stiffless, right? So I would be so bored. So I agree with that. You do need to be looking for those opportunities where you're going to continue to learn and it's going to challenge you.
Well, and also, again, another thing you said, you made a decision to be an officer. And I think a lot of people don't always make the initial decision, like, oh, maybe one day. No, it's not like you said, oh, I'm going to be an officer. And then you put the action behind it. You put the action effort behind it, where, again, I think those are two things that most people don't do.
Yeah.
They maybe toy around the idea, and then when they, okay, I'm going to do it, but then they don't do I have a reference I'm not going to use right now, but I'll tell you later when we're not recording. But they just don't put in the effort,
That is absolutely correct. And I'm laughing because, I'll give a little plug. So I just published another book, and it's called What's in Your Box. And it is about that in particular, right? We need to challenge those beliefs and assumptions that we bring along with us. And if we're going to want to get something out of life, you've got to pay yourself, right? You've got to put into it, and you have to take action. And so I think that we can all change our trajectory if we put the action into it, which means that we can move. Does it mean that everybody is going to be a millionaire or whatever? No, it doesn't. But we can get forward movement.
Yes.
And so, that's kind of going to be my next thing, is really getting people to start looking at, well, I've got some forward movement. Yeah, you might have 2 steps back, but you're going to learn something in those 2 steps back. That's going to take you maybe 6 steps forward, right? So.
Hello, everyone. This is Alex Tremble from GPS Leadership Solutions. And if you found this last interview to be awesome, spectacular, and actually you benefited from it, let me tell you, this is only the tip of the iceberg. Visit the alextrembleshow.com, information below in the description, and that's where you'll find the full uninterrupted interview. And I'm telling you, there's so much great content you'll hear from this past leader, as well as all the other leaders we've already interviewed. So remember, don't just look back, reach back. If there's someone who you think will benefit from this interview or any of the other interviews, make sure you share it with them. Click the like, click the subscribe, and as I always like to end all my sessions, stay strong, stay positive, and definitely stay moving. Thank you.